Hi everyone, this is Justine. For those of you who don't know me, I am a second-year medical student at USC. I'm currently in Kenya doing public health research over the summer, and it honestly feels like a dream for me to be here. So I know that there are so many students out there who want to also have their first global health field research experience, but it might seem daunting or even impossible at times. So I wanted to share 5 tips as well as 3 other important things I think you should consider as you are looking for your first field research experience. So the first tip I have is to join a global health related interest group at your university. And now, while this might seem like simple advice, that's really how you're going to be able to start building connections as well as start building expertise and understanding about what the actual issues are in the field. And additionally, by being part of these groups, a lot of times you'll be exposed to opportunities that might not be shared with the larger university. So really good examples of this kind of thing would be local chapters of multinational organizations. So for example, when I was in college, I was involved with Partners in Health Engage, which is the grassroots arm of Partners in Health. There's also, United Nations and UNICEF. I think Clinton Health Initiative has a lot of partnerships with universities and so many more nonprofits and organizations that you can get involved in even as just a university student. My second tip is to make your interests known. Don't be shy to share the fact that you are interested in doing research abroad and specific topics that you're interested in, as well as even if you are looking to be paid for your time there. Especially because I know for some people, it's really difficult to do this kind of thing without any kind of funding. Most of the time, if you tell people what it is that you're looking for, they will try to find a way to help you. Especially if someone is a mentor to you, they're in a more senior position and they have access to all of these partnerships and opportunities, it makes it easier for them actually to help you. Whereas if you were to say, I want to do research abroad, I'll go anywhere, I'll do anything, I don't care where I go or what I do, I just want to go there and be helpful some way. That's actually more burdensome for the person because there are so many different opportunities out there that it becomes an impossible problem. So make it known what it is that you need and what it is that you want, and that will help you get a long way. All right, everyone, so on to tip number 3, which is to build your skills and build your brand. In my opinion, skills are always number 1. That is actually where you put your money where your mouth is, and that's how you can actually be helpful and put out good work. So in terms of building your skills, if you are someone who is just getting started in public health and global health, you are going to have to start getting some kind of research experience in your university. So I would suggest that you look at the directory that most, if not all, universities, at least here in the US, do have, which usually will have their email as well as a little bit about the research interests and papers that they've published. That can be a good starting point for you in order to kind of dip your feet into things and actually get experience. Hi everyone, Editing Justine here. I just wanted to add a little bit of advice for those of you who are brand new to research. I know that this could be a video or 3 on its own, but just something to get you started. I would say that when you're first emailing professors, recognize that there is still something that you bring, and that is enthusiasm as well as a willingness to learn. And anything additionally that you can do in terms of if you're able to have a longer time commitment, make sure to let them know, because that makes it a lot easier for labs, because they know as they're investing all this time into training you that it's going to pay dividends later on because you're going to be a contributing member for a long time. The second thing being your brand. There are 2 components to this, in my opinion, which are 1, the brand of organizations you've worked with, and your personal brand. So in terms of the brand of organizations that you work with, I do think in global health that it does matter, and it does help if you have worked with an organization that an investigator respects and knows well. So a lot of those are the multinational organizations, and as I mentioned in the first tip, a lot of these organizations give you very easy opportunities to get involved as a student by starting a club or just being actively involved in one that already exists in your university, so definitely take advantage of that. And another way that you can build your organizational brand is to do research at well-known universities in your country. This is really helpful because not only are you kind of getting the fancy name on your CV, which unfortunately is still important, but you're also getting a really great chance to build your toolkit, build your skills. And I really encourage you, if you are fortunate to be in a situation where you are doing research at these universities, to make the most of it and to try to learn as much as you can, and recognize that if you are working with someone whom you really respect and is a leader in their field, that there is so much that is beyond just the base knowledge that we learn in textbooks that you can learn by just being in meetings with these people, interacting with them, and just being there as an eternal student. Now, the final component of branding that I'm going to talk about today is your personal brand. And I think that working on your personal brand really comes down to one simple phrase, which is do things well. You want to be someone whom other people want to have on their team. And what that means is that, let's say you have a reference on your CV and a potential supervisor or employer calls that person up, you want to hopefully feel confident that that person will have lots of great things to say about you and the work that you've done. And I think that a lot of people get really, they feel icky. And I've certainly felt that way in the past about networking and having people kind of know you as like, this person is X or this person is Y. But I think that we can really simplify it by just trying to be good people, be good to each other. And I think that that kind of personal brand carries over. You might not start out in a position where you have a fancy organizational brand name, but if you have a strong personal brand and a strong character, you can, I think, really achieve anything. Now, the fourth tip is, in my opinion, the juiciest tip, because it's one that I think a lot of people don't even realize is an option, but everyone can do. Now, the fourth tip is to use the third door. So what is the third door? Well, imagine that there are 3 doors. The first door is where the VIPs get in. So that's where your celebrities get in. That's where those people who are well known and have great connections get in. The second door is the standard process. So that's where, in the past, maybe you applied for an internship and you just use a standard portal and submitted your resume and then just waited. Now, the third door is where things get interesting. And that would be essentially trying to form a direct connection with the group or with the person whom you want to work with. Essentially, this is cold emailing, and this is something that I've been doing for a really long time without knowing what the third door was, but it can really be a powerful thing. And why is that a powerful thing? Especially, in my opinion, I would suggest combining the third door with the second door, which is you, let's say, apply for a specific program, but you also will send a personal message to someone who you are interested in working with in that program and try to find out more about the organization, maybe just have a coffee chat, maybe a Zoom call or something like that, to have them get to know you and you also get to know them. And I will say from personal experience that the third door is where the magic happens. It is actually how I got my first would-be international experience. It ended up being remote because of COVID, but what I did is I actually just emailed a bunch of researchers at Cambridge and Oxford in the UK, and I was, upfront about, hey, these are skills that I have, and to build on, the previous things that we talked about. At this point, I already had a decent amount of research experience. I had a publication, and I'd been really active in, global health organizations at my university. So I had something to bring to the table, and I was also clear about, hey, these are potential projects that I could do, and made it easy for them to say yes. and I did end up getting a position at Cambridge. Unfortunately, I was able to go in person, but it was still a really great experience, and I was able to also get a stipend for my work while I was doing that, because I was willing to be clear about what my needs were and what I wanted. So if that doesn't sell you on the third door, I think you should just try it for yourself. Try to find someone whom you would be excited to work with. Send them an email, make it really easy for them to say yes by being clear about what your skills are, what you can do, what project you could potentially do. And if you really want to go the extra mile, you could even send them a sample of your work. And I think you'll be surprised by how far that gets you. So now on to the last and final tip. Tip number 5 is to be persistent. So before I was able to come here to Kenya, I was actually rejected from helping plan a global health conference in my city. So I had applied to this thing. It was a second door kind of application, and I was rejected, and that's fine, but I just emailed the organizer and asked them, hey, I just wanted to follow up, and is there anything that I could do? I forget exactly what I emailed them, but they replied to me and they said, hey, there's actually this other opportunity that in hindsight I think was a much better opportunity for me. And it was really through this second opportunity that I would have never ever known about if I hadn't been rejected and been persistent enough to follow up and ask questions, that I really believe I was even able to come here to Kenya. Because through the opportunity, I was able to get mentorship, I was able to get help finding a project that met my interests, and the rest is history. So please don't be discouraged if you get rejected. It happens to everyone, but nobody talks about it. And I think that it can really be summed up in the idea that there's a time to reap and there's a time to sow. So even if you get rejected today, doesn't mean you're gonna get rejected again tomorrow. And even if you get rejected again tomorrow, maybe it's just not the right time, and maybe there's something even better waiting for you. Now, finally, as a bonus, here are 3 things that I think you should also consider as you're looking for a field research experience. Number 1 being, what value are you adding? I think that a lot of times students get really excited when they are very early on in their interest in global health, and they maybe haven't built as many skills that can be of use while they are abroad. So consider that deeply. And honestly, for me, I waited a long time before I tried to pursue international opportunities because I just wanted to make sure that when I'm there that I am giving as much, if not more, than what I am getting back. So that is number 1. And then number 2 is to think about why it is that you want to do field research, because there is a lot of good and a big difference that you can make in your local community and in your own country. So just think about that and make sure that you are happy with the reasons why you want to go abroad. And then finally, number 3 is to try to form long-term relationships while you are abroad, and then also after you come back to your home country. So a couple ways that you can do this is to, 1, maybe you'll try to continue working with your team remotely. Nowadays, that is easier than ever with Zoom and Google Calendars and so many other technologies that we have around. You could also maybe come back and work with that organization or that community every year, or whatever timeline makes sense. And finally, look for ways that your university can also support students who are at your partner organization in your host country. So I think exchange programs can be really helpful, and just as much value as you're getting while you're abroad, you can also give that experience back to other students who want to come visit your country. So that is the end of the video, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully it was helpful, and have a great day.